In the year 1447, the Persian warrior king, Shah Nader, of the Afsharid dynasty, was assassinated, and stability of the Persian state, now Iran, began to falter as succession became contentious. Nader is succeeded by his nephew, Adel Shah, who upon ascending to the throne, murdered all of Nader's direct descendants, all but Nader's grandson, Shahrukh. The old empire was no longer stable. The populace was exhausted after enduring a generation of cruelty under Nader Shah, who had imposed heavy taxes and had conscripted much of the working age population into the military service to support his continuous wars. With Nader's death, many exiled and persecuted influential tribal families returned to the country. Their forced exile under Nader had hardened them against the ruling elites, and their re-entry into Persia helped create further public resentment across the empire towards the ruling regime. The resentment led to the rise in localized tribal authority, at the expense of the centralized authority of the Shah. Powerful tribes were beginning to carve out regions of the empire for themselves, their own principalities. Adel proved to be a poor Shah and failed to understand how dire his political situation was. Instead of using his military might to secure the empire, in particular the old political capital of Isfahan, he instead stayed in the city of Mashhad to revel in comfort and instead delegated securing the old capital to his brother, Ibrahim. His army was left unemployed and allowed to plunder the surrounding area, leaving it a near ruin. Military order was collapsing, and dissatisfaction within the ranks was growing. Ali Madan Bakhtiari, an officer within the Shah's army, petitioned Adel to let him and his Bakhtiari tribesmen return home. But this request was refused. In an early display of the collapse of the Shah's authority, Ali Madan ignored this refusal, and he and his Bakhtiari military contingent left Mashhad to return to the Zagros Ranges, the place they called home. In the north, the Qajar tribe, led by Mohammad Hasan, a brutal but very capable military leader, was on the rise. The Qajar were one of the original Turkmen Qizilbash tribes that first helped found the Shia Persian Empire, ruled by the Safavids. The tribe now inhabited the province of Mazandaran, situated around the southern Caspian Sea coast. Mohammad Hasan, sensing the grip of the Shah loosening, seized the opportunity to take control of the city of Astrabad, believing the Persian Empire under Adel too weak to stop him. This turns out to be a major miscalculation by Hasan. While it seemed Adel Shah was uninterested in good governance, preferring instead to spend his time reveling in his capital, he was far from powerless. Adel raised an army and sent it to reconquer the city from the Qajars. Mohammad Hasan, on hearing that a large army was coming to relieve the city, fled. However, his eldest son, Aga Hasan Qajar, was left behind to fend for himself, and was subsequently captured by Adel's forces. Adel Shah, showing as much mercy as he could muster, spared Aga's life, but only after having him castrated, believing that this mutilation would be sufficient to prevent Aga ever becoming a serious threat to the Shah throne. While victorious in the north against the Qajar tribe, the collapse of order was now occurring across the entire empire. In the southwest, several tribes were carving out their own principalities. Ali Madan and his Bakhtiari forces were working towards building enough strength to seize the city of Isfahan for himself. Meanwhile, the competing Zand tribe, led by the charismatic Karim Khan, was also working on securing their own homeland in the Zagros region. The Zand tribe were a semi-nomadic people made up of Lurs and Kurds, based around the village of Pari. The Zand tribe had suffered a lot under the reign of Nader, who had exiled them from their home region around the Zagros Mountains to northern Khorasan in the far eastern frontier. Beyond this displacement, the tribe's leaders and fighting-aged men were forced into conscription to aid in Nader's never-ending military campaigns. It was only with the death of Nader that the Zand tribe had finally returned to their homeland, eager to secure their own destiny. In the year 1748, Ali Adel Shah is betrayed by his brother, Ibrahim Khan. Ibrahim had taken control of the city of Isfahan as directed by his brother, but once seizing power and shoring up military support, declared himself Shah in opposition to his brother. Ali Adel, determined to re-exert his authority over his wayward brother, marched his army west towards Isfahan. When the two brothers met on the battlefield, it was Ibrahim who had the numerical advantage, an advantage that would be proven decisive when Ali Adel's forces were crushed. Adel himself was captured after he attempted to flee, upon which he was blinded and imprisoned, thus ending his short one-year reign. Adel would ultimately be brought back to the city of Mashhad, where the widow of Nader successfully petitioned for Adel's execution. It was during this tumultuous period that Shahrukh was named Shah by the Kurdish, Arabic, and Turkish tribal leaders in and around Mashhad. With Shahrukh named Shah, Ibrahim was summoned to acknowledge Shahrukh's ascendancy, but Ibrahim refused and instead had himself crowned in Tabriz. This inevitably resulted in a conflict, with Shahrukh sending an army to subdue the traitorous Ibrahim. On July 1749, at the city of Semnan, Ibrahim's army was defeated, and he was subsequently captured and blinded and sent to Mashhad for execution. Shahrukh himself would become a puppet king for various warlords within the region of Khorasan. From Mashhad, Shahrukh successfully gained the support of Mohammad Hasan Qajar. However, Shahrukh was simply a figurehead, with the true power being the Kurdish, Arabic, and Turkish tribal leaders. Court intrigue would leave the Shahrukh regime crippled and unable to assert any amount of authority over the splintering western portion of the empire. Iran was now split in half, and it would remain this way for a generation to come. It will take many bloody civil wars before any semblance of Iranian unification is achieved. In my next video, I will follow the deadly consequences of Western Iran's instability and the struggle of local leaders to subjugate their competitors. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe.